People often say the past has a way of coming back to haunt us. And for Queen Camilla, long-hidden secrets are finally coming to light. In a particularly tense moment, the Queen couldn't hold back her emotions and broke down in tears when she was caught destroying letters from Princess Diana. This unexpected scene shocked those present and set off a media frenzy, raising numerous questions about the complicated and controversial dynamics within the royal family. Will Camilla face significant repercussions for this event? And how will the public view the Queen once the truth is fully revealed? Let's dive into the full story and uncover the truth behind this event. Will Queen Camilla face serious consequences after being caught destroying letters from Princess Diana? These letters could be key pieces of evidence that may completely shift the power dynamics within the royal family. What do you think about this? Is this a major turning point in history, or just another small chapter in royal affairs? Have you been keeping up with this story? If so, leave a comment with the number 1. If not, drop a 0 in the comments. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button to stay updated on more thrilling revelations and untold secrets yet to unfold. At just 20 years old, Diana Spencer entered the palace with a heart full of hope and dreams. She never could have imagined that her life would transform into a royal tragedy, capturing the hearts of people around the world. When she accepted Prince Charles's proposal, Diana believed that love would shield her from any obstacles. But what she didn't realize was that behind Charles's cold smile was a painful truth. Camilla Parker, the woman who had never truly left his life. While Diana threw herself into her roles as a princess, wife, and devoted mother, Camilla quietly lingered in the background through secret phone calls, stolen glances, and the emotional distance that Charles brought home every night. With the innocence of a young girl, Diana gradually came to the painful realization that she wasn't just Charles's wife. She was, in fact, the third woman in her own marriage. From that moment, a silent battle unfolded between the young, heartbroken woman and the more seasoned one. This struggle not only stole Diana's youth and trust, but also shattered the vision of a perfect royal life that she had once cherished. Despite being aware of the complex, ongoing relationship between Prince Charles and Camilla, Diana chose not to make it public. It wasn't out of weakness or fear, but because she still clung to the hope that she might get a second chance, believing that Charles would eventually return to her side. Diana held on to the hope that their love could still be saved. But love can only thrive when both partners are loyal, and loyalty, when one-sided, cannot withstand the weight of betrayal. Diana didn't cry out in anger or despair. Instead, she wrote tear-stained letters, not to celebrate, but to send a clear and powerful message. One of her letters, believed to be addressed to Camilla, read, "I see what's happening. I'm not blind. I hear the whispers. But remember, I am still his wife, and I won't walk away without a fight." With every word, Diana made it known that, despite the heartache, she was determined to stand her ground. These letters threw both Charles and Camilla into a state of turmoil. Yet, Diana chose to keep them hidden, not out of fear, but to preserve the last shred of dignity for the man she had once loved. She refused to let the pain define her life. Each letter she wrote was like a wound, but also a powerful challenge, an unspoken declaration that, even as the third party, she would never be erased from her own story. One of Diana's final letters, written with a sense of emptiness, held these words: "If one day I disappear, remember that I lived and fought in silence for my children." Whether Camilla ever responded remains unknown, but it was clear that the letters deeply unsettled her. Despite all of Diana's efforts to preserve her dignity, she refused to let her life be forgotten or silenced. Diana once said, "I tried, I loved, I forgave, I endured, but I was never blind." These words now echo like a prophecy, resonating in the minds of all who hear them, even after her tragic death in the car accident that shocked the world. Though Diana's voice may have been stilled, her letters remain, untouched and enduring. They stand as a lasting testament to a woman who fought quietly and resiliently, always holding on to her self-respect despite facing countless challenges. But what if I told you that Queen Camilla was caught doing something truly shocking? She destroyed the final handwritten letters of Princess Diana. As the flames in the palace fireplace engulfed the silk ribbon, Diana's familiar handwriting flickered for a brief moment before it was reduced to ash. Then, in an instant, everything changed as a royal guard entered the room. Camilla stood there, cold and isolated, her hands tightly clutching a bundle of old letters tied with a pale blue silk ribbon. The air around her carried the delicate scent of lavender, yet it was also tinged with the sharp smell of cigarette smoke. Moments later, the fire curled the edges of the pages, turning them black, as the letters, once full of emotion and pain, disappeared forever. A medical staff member caught a fleeting glimpse of Diana's unmistakable handwriting, a brief signature, a silent testament to her presence. And then, it all turned to dust. The room fell into a heavy silence, broken only when Camilla whispered something, her voice barely audible. Her eyes, filled with guilt and sorrow, left everyone around her frozen, unsure of how to react. That night, whispers of the event spread swiftly through the palace halls. One voice broke through the hushed murmurs in the crowd. Queen Camilla had erased Diana's final truth. The letters, once securely kept within the palace walls, were now nothing more than ashes. But why? And who had given the order for such an act? The answer remains a mystery as the public erupts in outrage, and Diana's memory faces an uncertain future. These letters, written between 1990 and 1997, were deeply personal and heartfelt. They weren't carefully crafted words for public consumption, but raw emotions from Diana, shared only with those she trusted most. Some letters revealed her pain and fear, the overwhelming sense of abandonment, and the anxiety that she might lose her son to a system she no longer believed in. One letter, rumored to be hers, read, "They're trying to shape William in their way, not mine." Another, believed to be Diana's, expressed her profound fear that history would be rewritten without her voice, leaving her truth lost to time. Some of these letters may even contain hidden clues or secret recordings that have never seen the light of day. One document is said to hold a chilling warning from Diana herself. It's believed that Diana wrote, "Until my voice is forgotten, many will understand that this is a subtle hint directed at Camilla." The controversy surrounding Diana's private writings has become impossible to ignore, leaving the public to wonder why these letters were never handed over to William and Harry. Who was the first to discover that Camilla was destroying these letters? And who uncovered the shocking truth? It was a palace assistant, initially tasked with retrieving Queen Elizabeth's memorial diary, who stumbled upon the unexpected and damning sight of Camilla in the act of erasing Diana's final words. The assistant arrived at Camilla's office early that morning, only to find the door slightly ajar. A strange, unpleasant odor lingered in the air, signaling that something darker was concealed within. It quickly became clear that a deeper secret was about to be uncovered, one that no one could have predicted. Strange smoke rose from the fireplace as Camilla stood motionless, her hands tightly clutching torn envelopes and a letter that had been partially burned. Shocked, the assistant took a step back, unable to believe what they were witnessing, as if the moment itself was too painful to absorb. Camilla's face turned pale, and her voice came out as barely a whisper. Things were not as they appeared. The undeniable evidence still smoldered in the fireplace, a silent testament to what had just occurred. The assistant said nothing more and quietly left the room. Within 48 hours, they were abruptly transferred to Balmoral, stripped of all access to the palace, and with no explanation, they vanished from sight. Insider sources whispered that this was no mere coincidence, but rather a directive from the highest levels of the royal establishment. The pressing question remains, was this drastic move meant to protect Camilla? Or was it a calculated effort to bury the hidden secrets within those scorched letters? Although Camilla did not personally sign the transfer papers, it was widely understood that the order came from the very top. The questions continued to swirl endlessly. Why destroy those letters, and why now? Could this be an attempt to close a painful chapter, or a calculated political move to bury uncomfortable truths forever? Within the walls of the palace, those in the know may have silently accepted, or even orchestrated, the destruction of these letters. While Diana's voice fell silent after her tragic death in 1997, her image and memory continue to resonate powerfully in the public's mind. From in-depth interviews to secret recordings, her presence remains ever strong. However, it is the deeply personal and heartbreaking handwritten letters, believed by many to hold the most profound untold truths, that are now at risk of being consumed by the flames. These letters are believed to contain Diana's deepest fears, including an unsettling premonition that her story would be distorted after her passing. She spoke openly about the reshaping of the palace, a shadowy effort by Charles's inner circle to alter her image, even while she was still alive. Diana feared that this quiet erasure would not only diminish her role as a mother, but also transform her identity in ways she could neither control nor accept. She worried deeply for William and Harry, fearing they would be manipulated and exploited within a system she no longer trusted, a system that could rewrite history without her voice, erasing the truth of her experiences and her love for her children. One of the final letters is believed to have confirmed this harsh possibility, serving as a direct warning that her true story might soon be forgotten, leaving only a meticulously crafted legend in its place. Some of the letters even revealed how deeply William shared Diana's pain, a bond forged through shared struggles and an unspoken understanding. Yet, Diana feared that this precious connection might be severed by forces working behind the scenes. Beyond her control, her writings were filled with sharp warnings about the royal family's relentless drive to maintain power and silence the truth, reminding her readers of the lengths to which they would go to shape history, even at the cost of erasing her voice. A haunting phrase remains hidden, unseen by the public. I am the complexity they cannot control. Diana had written clearly that she wanted to be remembered for who she truly was, not as a distorted figure manipulated by royal politics. If those words still exist, they could stand as her final, resolute statement. But if they are destroyed, the question lingers. Who truly benefits when this truth is erased? Is this a deeply personal issue for Camilla, or part of a larger political scheme? Camilla has carefully navigated a delicate position within the royal family, transitioning from mistress to queen. And with that journey comes a web of hidden motives and long-held secrets, raising doubts about who might have a stake in erasing Diana's truth. Her journey has been marked by a blend of public criticism and secretive maneuvers. When rumors about her allegedly destroying Diana's letters began to spread, many began to speculate that this could be Camilla's final attempt to erase the past. Those close to the royal family believe that Camilla has long been haunted by Diana's shadow, seen not only in portraits and media coverage, but also in Charles's memories, as he has never fully let go of Diana. An insider revealed that these letters could represent more than just words. They could be ghosts that Camilla cannot escape. Yet others argue that Camilla's actions may be part of a much larger, more strategic plan, one that seeks to solidify her position and reshape the narrative in a way that leaves no trace of the woman who came before her. If these letters portray Camilla in a negative light or expose uncomfortable truths about Charles's behavior during their marriage, it could dramatically shift public opinion, especially now that Camilla has asserted her position as queen consort. An insider suggests that, fearing a public controversy over this story, Camilla took matters into her own hands to protect herself and secure her place within the royal family. However, it remains unclear whether Charles was directly involved in the situation or if he simply turned a blind eye. Some believe that while he knew about the letters, he couldn't face the painful truths they revealed. Concerned not only about his own reputation, but also about the potential damage these revelations could cause to the monarchy, he may have preferred to bury the truth rather than confront it. Those monitoring from within the palace cannot help but question whether this is a personal breakdown or a meticulously calculated strategy. If it is, in fact, a strategic move, who would truly be in the know? A strange silence began to fall over the palace, as if it were trying to speak louder than ever before. A sense of fear crept in, and anxiety quickly spread like wildfire as whispers about the situation quietly circulated among the staff. The palace doors were locked even tighter, and any questions regarding the incident were swiftly dismissed. Most notably, staff were given strict warnings not to divulge any information about the letters under the guise of protecting the crown. It became clear that the palace was doing everything in its power to keep this matter tightly under wraps. An insider from the palace revealed that an additional fire report had been filed, raising even more questions about the incident. The investigator noted that the materials found included wax-sealed parchment and remnants of ribbon, clearly indicating this was not a typical letter-burning situation. The investigator was reportedly quoted as saying that this was a deliberate act. Shocked by the discovery, Charles chose not to confront Camilla directly. Instead, he withdrew into silence. Several appointments were suddenly canceled, and according to sources, he told his assistant, "It's over. Let's move on. No investigation, no explanation, just silence." Shortly after, high-ranking officials quickly stepped in to suppress the story, fearing that public trust in the monarchy would collapse. Despite their efforts, the news spread rapidly, igniting curiosity and speculation among the public. A question echoes through the ancient halls of the palace. Who saw the letters before they were destroyed? It was not the fire itself that sparked the greatest fear, but the cover-up. If the monarchy was willing to conceal a scandal of this magnitude, what else might they be hiding? As every attempt to suppress the truth failed in the face of its rapid spread, one critical question remained unanswered. Who was truly behind the destruction of those letters? This story is far from over, and the eyes of the public remain fixed on it. When the news reached Althorp, Diana's ancestral home, it didn't come through an official palace statement. Instead, it traveled quietly, passed from one aide to another in hushed whispers. The walls of the royal family may have been sealed, but the cracks in their silence continue to widen. The Spencer family's outrage was immediate and unmistakable. Charles Spencer, Diana's brother, responded with fierce anger. Sources close to the family revealed that Earl Spencer was livid, emphasizing that the letters were not royal property, but rather Diana's personal belongings, a deeply emotional family heirloom of the Spencers. He made it clear that these letters were not political artifacts to be discarded, but cherished mementos of family history. It didn't take long for the Spencers to launch a private investigation at Althorpe. Every letter, photograph, and personal recording that Diana had entrusted to the family was now being meticulously examined. As the investigation unfolded, it became apparent that the Spencers were determined to uncover the truth, no matter where it led. A cousin is said to have remarked, "If they can burn her truth, they can erase everything else." Behind the palace's silence, there was no apology, no explanation, only smoke, fading echoes, and a lingering sense of emptiness. It was this lack of accountability that turned sorrow into fury. A member of the Spencer family spoke out, saying, "We trusted them, and we were wrong. This isn't just destruction, it's betrayal." Charles Spencer is said to have confided in a close friend, warning that if the royal family believes Diana's story ends with a fire, they may have severely underestimated the gravity of the situation. The Spencers' resolve only strengthened, and they vowed to ensure that Diana's truth, no matter how inconvenient, would never be forgotten. Now, Diana's bloodline demands answers. One question remains unresolved. Did William and Harry know about the letters before they were destroyed? According to insiders, the truth is heartbreaking. Neither of them were warned. While William was aware of the letters' existence, the painful reality hit when an aide informed him that he had never been given the chance to read them. The true anguish came from the fact that those letters were part of his mother's legacy, and to learn that they had been destroyed without his knowledge was a devastating shock. Harry's reaction was even more emotional, deepening an already profound rift between him and the royal family. He had often described Diana's letters as the only way he still felt connected to his mother. To know they were gone forever was a blow that widened the emotional distance between him and those in power. Sources say Harry was furious, feeling as if he had been abandoned all over again. Neither brother received any warning, no phone call, no message, just silence. And now, with the truth still lingering like smoke after the aftermath, the two brothers face a heartbreaking decision. Harry has always felt caught between two worlds. If you relate to the inner struggles Harry faces, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to follow more in-depth stories about the royal family. What do you think about this situation? Can Harry find reconciliation with his family? Leave a 1 if you believe in forgiveness, or a 0 if you think this rift may never heal. Share your thoughts in the comments below this video. On one side, Harry is bound by his duty to the royal family, while on the other, there is a deep connection to his mother. The weight of maintaining the monarchy, especially with William destined to inherit the throne, continues to weigh heavily on him. The veil may have been lifted, but the letters written for us are now gone, taking with them a powerful voice. Prince Harry's relationship with Charles and Camilla has become increasingly strained, according to those close to the family. And lurking beneath all of this is a nearly forgotten name. Edith Travers, the woman who once protected those letters. Edith Travers was the royal archivist, carefully and meticulously preserving Diana's letters for over a decade, guarding them as a crucial part of the family's legacy. What role did Edith play in this hidden chapter, and how does her silence now fit into this tangled web of royal secrets? She was the guardian of their secrets, working under strict supervision. But when she suddenly retired without a word of farewell, rumors of a palace shift began to surface. Tensions mounted as Camilla was said to have attempted to access Diana's archives, a move that Edith firmly opposed. Then, without any explanation, she vanished. The most chilling part was the final email she sent to a former colleague. "Be careful. The truth about Diana is under threat. They are not honoring her memory. They are erasing it." After her retirement, Edith declined all interview requests, and her home in Wiltshire became eerily silent. The curtains remained drawn, and every call went unanswered. It was as though she had disappeared into the shadows, taking with her the final pieces of a truth that the royal family may have hoped to bury forever. Did Edith know more than she revealed? Had she uncovered a plan to destroy the letters, or had she been quietly sidelined to clear the way for another move? Whatever the truth may be, one thing is certain. She sensed that something was about to happen and no longer believed the palace could stop it. She raised the alarm, but no one listened. And if Edith Travers had a copy or knew of a second archive, perhaps not all was lost. The possibility of that makes her the focal point of what could soon be revealed. Even a single remaining letter could change everything. The public's reaction was immediate and full of emotion, with people across the globe wondering, will the truth about Diana finally be uncovered, or will it be buried forever? The stakes have never been higher, and the search for the missing pieces of Diana's story has only just begun. Outrage, sorrow, and growing suspicion spread like wildfire. When news of the destroyed letters leaked, hashtags like #JusticeForDiana and #WhenLettersAren'tJustLetters began trending on social media. TikTok and Reddit became buzzing hubs of speculation, with users dissecting interviews and timelines, sparking endless discussions and theories. The candles outside Kensington Palace flickered in the night. It was not only a mourning for Diana, but also a collective grief over a truth the public believed had been stripped away from them. Royal watchers, historians, and everyday citizens alike struggled to contain their emotions, as the story of Diana, her life, her legacy, and the secrets she left behind began to take on new, unpredictable dimensions. The royal family's silence only fueled the flames of curiosity and distrust, leaving the world to question, what are they hiding? A television commentator described the destruction of the letters as an act of historical sabotage, while another remarked, Camilla has turned the fireplace into a symbol of fear. Emotional tributes poured in from across the globe, with many people, some of whom had not even been born when Diana passed, still feeling the profound impact of her life. Yet her story continued to resonate, stirring hearts and shaking the world. Within just 3 days, petitions had gathered over 500,000 signatures calling for full transparency and an official investigation. The public demanded the release of any remaining letters, insisting that Diana's truth be honored. Protesters gathered outside Buckingham Palace, holding signs that read, "Her truth deserves to be honored more than a memorial fire." The world was no longer silent, and the call for justice had become too loud to ignore. Royal advocacy groups began organizing marches and publicly reading Diana's final words, turning her memory into a rallying cry for justice. Amid all of this, public trust in the monarchy continued to erode. This was no longer just a public plea. It had become a full-blown crisis. Diana symbolized compassion, defiance, and truth. If her final words were truly erased, what message would that send to the world? Diana always spoke from the heart, and now it seemed they wanted that voice silenced. At the candlelit prayer vigil outside Kensington Palace, as the crowd screamed for answers, one man stood in silence. His stillness was a powerful statement, a reminder that sometimes it's not the loudest voices that hold the most weight, but the quiet ones that reflect the deepest truths. And in that silence, many heard a greater truth. Was Charles shielding Camilla, or was he protecting himself? Charles rarely appears in public, continuing to avoid direct contact with the press. Even information about his sons is scarce, adding to the growing mystery surrounding his actions. Behind that silence lies a storm of speculation. What does his silence truly reveal about what's happening inside the palace? Whispers suggest that Charles is deeply torn. He is not only a king, but also a husband, a father, and once the man who called Diana the love of his life. Yet when it came time to protect her legacy, he remained silent. That silence, many believe, speaks volumes about the complex web of loyalty, guilt, and self-preservation that continues to bind him. The question remains, can silence truly protect the truth, or does it only deepen the shadows that surround it? Some believe that Charles remains loyal to Camilla, while others suspect he is weighed down by guilt. Those close to the family describe an atmosphere of intense tension. William is said to have distanced himself, even canceling some private meetings with his father. Meanwhile, Harry, driven by anger and a growing sense of injustice, is reportedly considering a public statement, determined to protect the truth. An insider revealed that while Charles did not directly order the destruction of the letters, he also did nothing to stop it. This silence not only cost him the public's support, but also threatened to fracture the fragile unity within the family. As the rift deepens, it raises the question of whether the monarchy can withstand the storm or if the truth will eventually tear it apart. Charles faces a crucial decision: to speak out in defense of Diana or remain silent. He chose silence. Now, the palace is in full damage control mode, with press teams working tirelessly and lawyers waiting behind closed doors. New public relations strategies are being devised, one involving a carefully worded, emotionless statement, and another suggesting that William could be used to calm the growing unrest. However, insiders warn that William will not bend the truth, no matter the pressure. Charles's silence has only deepened the rift between him and the heirs, casting doubt on the monarchy's ability to weather this storm. As the family's divisions widen, the question remains: will the royal family find a way to heal, or is this a wound that will continue to tear them apart? But one question remains. Are there any more letters from Diana that have yet to be found? Diana was known for her caution, often making copies of her sensitive writings under legal guidance. It's believed that she kept backups with trusted allies abroad. There are even rumors of a separate collection stored in a Swiss safe under a pseudonym. Some speculate that part of it was entrusted to her private lawyer, who retired in the early 2000s. Whispers also surround the last letter Diana wrote just days before her fateful trip to Paris. A royal historian claims to have seen a copy of this powerful letter, and its contents, if true, could change everything. Was it a final message, a last plea for the truth to be heard? The search for these missing pieces of Diana's legacy may have only just begun. Beyond the emotional depth, the letter is believed to carry significant political weight, naming key figures and linking important events. If what has been revealed is true, it could rewrite the entire history of the royal family. But one question still lingers. Does anyone still hold on to those documents? And if so, how long before the world learns the full truth? A shocking revelation suggests that a member of the royal family may have quietly sought out the letters, torn between keeping them hidden or exposing everything. The fierce fire of the past may have swept away one voice, but countless others remain unsaid. A former royal correspondent insists that the truth has not been lost. and that the real story, hidden beneath layers of silence, will eventually come to light. As time passes, the stakes grow higher. Could the monarchy truly withstand the full force of Diana's truth? Only time will tell. It is simply waiting for the right moment to rise again from the ashes. Diana's legacy has once again come to the forefront, not only through films, memories, or charitable work, but this time, it's a battle, a fight for justice, memory, and transparency within the monarchy. At the heart of the controversy is Queen Camilla. Her reputation is under immense pressure from accusations that could permanently tarnish the crown. Some insider sources suggest that the palace is working tirelessly to mitigate the damage and prevent the far-reaching consequences from spreading further. Despite Queen Camilla's approval rating plummeting and the media becoming increasingly critical, the palace has chosen to remain silent. This silence, however, may not be enough to keep the truth hidden for long. As the public continues to demand answers, the monarchy finds itself at a crossroads, facing a decision that could alter its future forever. They hope that everything will eventually pass. But Diana's voice is not easily silenced. Now the question is, how will those closest to King Charles act? Some believe that Charles is quietly preparing for a private memorial service, perhaps to honor his late wife in a more personal, subdued way. Others whisper that he may be holding a collection of sensitive correspondence, documents he has never made public. Perhaps one day he will reveal everything. Perhaps there will come a time when he can no longer remain silent. This time, the pain isn't just in the loss of Diana, but in the fact that her voice has been quietly extinguished by those who were once by her side. For those closest to Prince William, and for the monarchy itself, a significant crossroads is approaching. Will the truth be allowed to emerge, or will it remain buried forever, with the legacy of the royal family forever altered? As public trust continues to fracture and old values are questioned, they must make a choice. Continue to remain silent or stand up and take responsibility? For the millions around the world who once adored Princess Diana, there is only one question echoing everywhere. Why did her voice become a threat? Perhaps those letters are gone, but the fire they once sparked has never been extinguished. Doubt is growing, and the royal family faces an unprecedented crisis in modern history. Diana's voice may have been silenced by the flames of the past, but its echo has never faded. The world watches and waits. Will there come a day when the truth is finally revealed, or will it remain buried forever in the shadows of the monarchy? And if the secrets once hidden in the shadows of the palace, things Camilla may have tried to conceal, are brought to light, what will the world's reaction be? Will the crown remain firmly on Camilla's head, or will it become a symbol of betrayal, a stain on the history of the British monarchy? For no darkness can endure forever under the light of justice. Sooner or later, what has been buried must come to the surface. Camilla ascended the throne not through public affection, but through a controversial journey paved with the pain and tears of Princess Diana. If the missing documents, recordings, or confessions many believe Diana left behind truly exist, the day everything unravels for Camilla may come sooner than anyone expects. The monarchy's future could depend on whether the truth remains hidden or is finally exposed for all to see. And when that day comes, not just the crown, but Camilla's reputation, trust, and status in the eyes of the British people may be swept away by the winds. For the people may forget, but history does not. Will the public forgive Camilla? Or will they forever view her as a symbol of an era where lies and power overshadowed the truth? Will history offer her a compassionate perspective, Or will it depict her as a stand-in who was never truly seen as queen in the hearts of the people? Only time, and perhaps Prince William, can provide the final answer. But one thing is certain. If the truth is revealed, it will not only shake Buckingham Palace, but it will completely change the way the world views a woman once seen as merely a shadow. The consequences of those secrets coming to light could echo through generations, leaving an indelible mark on the legacy of the British monarchy. Just when it seemed like the storm had passed, another truth erupts, putting the royal family in a situation they can no longer ignore. Camilla is now facing questions that even time cannot answer definitively. Will she overcome this, or will this crisis pull her into an even deeper spiral? What do you think about these developments? Will the public forgive her, or will they judge her harshly? Share your thoughts in the comments below. And now, leave a 1 if you think Camilla will overcome this, and a 0 if you believe this crisis will continue. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss the latest updates about the royal family. See you in the next video, where more truths continue to be revealed.